A ragged market woman walks into the throne room. Her fingers tighten around a chipped clay bowl. In front of her sits the man she once knew as a beggar, now Prince Tunde Adebayo, robed in gold, crowned in silence. He was family once. Or so, she thought. Now Amara looks him in the eye and speaks. "Amara," voice trembling to Tunde, "you ate my last meal, sat cross-legged in the dirt with us. Let my daughter call you uncle. Tell me true, your highness. When Kemi shared her bread with you, were you laughing at us the whole time? Welcome to our YouTube channel, where African stories live, breathe, and come alive. If you love powerful tales rooted in tradition, mystery, and heart, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss a moment of our African folktales, crafted to inspire, entertain, and stir your soul. Now, let's dive into today's story. The bustling streets of Lagos buzzed with the usual chaos, but in the affluent neighborhood of Ikoyi, panic had taken hold. The Adebayo family, one of Nigeria's wealthiest dynasties, had just discovered their heir Prince Tunde Adebayo was missing. His penthouse was empty, his accounts untouched, and his phone left behind. The family's private security team scoured the city, but there was no trace of the young billionaire. Meanwhile, in the crowded Oshodi market, a disheveled man in tattered clothes crouched near a food stall, his face hidden beneath a dirt-streaked hood. Tunde had chosen this life, a life of anonymity, to escape the suffocating expectations of his royal lineage. As he watched the market seller, a young woman named Amara tirelessly haggle with customers to feed her little daughter, he felt something he hadn't in years: humility. Amara's stall was modest, but her spirit was unbreakable. Every morning she arrived before dawn to arrange her goods: ripe plantains, fresh peppers, and dried fish, while her 4-year-old daughter, Kemi, played nearby with a worn-out doll. Tunde, now known as Baba Tunde among the market beggars, watched her with fascination. Unlike the socialites he once entertained, Amara's strength was raw, her laughter genuine. One scorching afternoon, a group of street thugs demanded protection money from Amara. When she refused, they knocked over her stand, scattering her goods. Without thinking, Tunde stepped forward, his voice firm despite his ragged appearance. The thugs hesitated, then laughed, until he whispered something in their ears. Their faces paled, and they fled. Amara stared at the mysterious beggar, suspicion and gratitude warring in her eyes. Days passed, and Amara began leaving a small bowl of food for Tunde, though she barely had enough for herself. He tried to refuse, but she insisted. "Even the poorest can share," she said. Touched, Tunde started helping her in secret, fixing her stall, chasing off thieves, and even playing with Kemi, who adored him instantly. But danger loomed. A royal guard disguised as a trader had caught wind of a beggar with noble features in Oshodi. Tunde noticed the man's too clean shoes and stiff posture. His heart pounded. If he was found, he'd be dragged back to his gilded cage. Yet for the first time, he wasn't sure he wanted to disappear again. The royal guard, disguised as a yam seller, kept his eyes locked on Tunde. There was something about the beggar's posture, too straight for someone who slept on the streets. He watched as Tunde helped Amara lift a heavy sack of rice, his muscles flexing beneath his ragged clothes. No ordinary beggar had such strength. That evening, the guard followed Tunde to his makeshift shelter under the bridge. He pulled out his phone, snapping a blurry photo before sending it to the Adebayo family's security team. Possible sighting in Oshodi, investigating further. Tunde, sensing danger, melted into the shadows. He knew his time in hiding was running out. Amara noticed Tunde's sudden tension. "What's wrong?" she asked as he scanned the marketplace like a hunted man. He forced a smile. "Nothing, just tired." But Kemi, ever perceptive, tugged his sleeve. "Baba Tunde, are you running from bad people?" His breath hitched. That night, under a sky lit by kerosene lamps, Tunde made a decision. He pulled Amara aside. "I haven't been honest with you," he confessed. Before he could continue, a black SUV screeched into the market. Men in suits stepped out. Adebayo security. Amara's eyes widened. "Who are you?" Tunde's royal guards surrounded him, bowing slightly, a sign of respect. Prince Tunde, your father demands your return." The market erupted in whispers. "Prince?" Amara stumbled back, betrayal flashing in her eyes. Tunde reached for her, but the guards blocked him. "Amara, let me explain." She clutched Kemi to her chest. "You lied to me." As the SUV sped away, Tunde's last sight was Amara's tear-streaked face. His heart shattered. He had found love in the most unexpected place, and now he might lose it forever. The Adebayo mansion was a fortress of luxury, but to Tunde it felt like a prison. His father, the king, glared down at him. "Enough of this foolishness. You will take your place as heir." His mother, softer but firm, added, "We've arranged a marriage with the Olajide family. It's time to act like a prince." Tunde's mind raced with thoughts of Amara. He had wealth, power, everything but freedom. That night he stared at the city skyline, plotting his escape. He couldn't abandon her. Amara didn't sleep. The revelation that the kind beggar was a billionaire prince replayed in her mind. Kemi kept asking, "When will Baba Tunde come back?" Amara had no answers. The next morning she saw her face on the news. "Market woman linked to missing prince." Reporters swarmed her stall, demanding answers. Meanwhile, Tunde bribed a servant for a phone. He dialed Amara's number, praying she'd answer. When her voice crackled through, "Hello?" his heart leaped. "Amara, meet me at the old train yard. Midnight, please." Amara hesitated. Trusting him again was risky, but Kemi's hopeful eyes decided it. They slipped past the reporters, reaching the abandoned train yard. Tunde emerged from the shadows, dressed plainly, but no longer a beggar. "I'm sorry," he breathed. "I never meant to lie." Before she could respond, flashlights blinded them. "Prince Tunde!" His father's guards had followed him. Tunde grabbed Amara's hand. "Run!" They dashed through the rusted trains, Kemi giggling as if it were a game, but the guards were closing in. Cornered, Tunde turned to Amara. "Come with me. I can protect you." She trembled. "And do what? Live in your palace while my people starve?" His father's voice boomed behind them. "This ends now." Tunde faced him. "No, it begins." He dropped to one knee, not to his father, but to Kemi. "Would you like to see where I live?" The king's fury turned to shock. His son had chosen. The palace staff bowed as Tunde passed, but their eyes told a different story. In the servants' quarters, mutters of dissent spread like wildfire. "He's destroying generations of tradition," the head butler grumbled to the kitchen staff. Amara overheard as she fetched water for Kemi. That night she warned Tunde, "Your people don't trust me. They see me as an outsider stealing their prince." He cupped her face. "Then we'll show them you belong here." But as they slept, shadowy, figures slipped through the palace halls, leaving cryptic notes at their door. "The throne rejects impostors." Kemi's laughter echoed through the gardens as she chased butterflies. Suddenly, a gardener lunged with a machete. Tunde moved faster, taking the slash across his forearm. Guards swarmed, but the attacker bit down. Foam erupted from his mouth as he collapsed. Poison. In the infirmary, the royal physician trembled. The blade was coated with oleander extract. Amara clutched Kemi, her entire body shaking. Tunde stared at his bandaged arm. This wasn't just resistance, this was war. Tunde ransacked his father's old study. Behind a portrait of the first Adebayo king, he found a vault. Inside lay a ledger detailing decades of bribes, including payments to the Olajide family. The last entry chilled him. Final payment for elimination of Tunde's bastard child. He vomited into the wastebasket. His father hadn't just disapproved of Amara, he'd known about Kemi all along. Amara smashed the ledger against Tunde's chest. "You said she was safe." Her voice cracked. Kemi, playing with dolls in the corner, looked up nervously. Tunde fell to his knees. "I didn't know, I swear." She grabbed a ceremonial dagger from the wall. "Then prove it. Take me to him." The former king lounged in his gilded cell, sipping whiskey. "Took you long enough to—" Amara's dagger pinned his sleeve to the chair. "Try to hurt my child again," she hissed, "and I'll peel the skin from your bones." Tunde had never seen such terror in his father's eyes. The old man whispered, "You've unleashed a lioness, boy." The royal council insisted on immediate coronation to stabilize the kingdom. But first, the high priest declared, the prince must complete the rite of ancestors, a 3-day vigil in the sacred caves. As Tunde prepared to leave, Amara noticed the priest's fingers stained with the same herbal dye the poisoned gardener had used. The cave entrance collapsed behind Tunde. His flashlight revealed walls covered in strange symbols and recent explosive charges. Somewhere above, Amara heard the priest chuckle, "The ancestors hunger tonight." She grabbed a guard's rifle. "Where's the back entrance?" When he hesitated, she cocked the gun. "Now!" Tunde stumbled into a cavern littered with skeletons, previous princes who failed the rite. A voice echoed, "Your father sends regards." Archers emerged from the shadows, then gunfire erupted. Amara dropped from a crevice, spraying bullets. "Nobody kills my baby's father but me." Back at the palace, Tunde faced the traitorous priest. "Who else is involved?" The man spat blood. "You'll never!" Amara broke his finger with a sickening crack. Names. Now. By dawn, 12 conspirators hung from the gates. The message was clear. The new regime played by different rules. Amara struggled through etiquette lessons, snapping fan after fan. "Why must I learn this useless—" "The same reason I learned to beg," Tunde interrupted softly. "Survival." That night she practiced curtsies until her knees bled. Amara stood atop a wooden cart in the middle of Oshodi market, her voice cutting through the humid air like a machete. "They think because we're poor, we're powerless." The crowd of market women roared, their colorful head wraps bobbing like a stormy sea. "But today we show them the strength of mothers." Tunde watched from a concealed vantage point, his royal guards blending into the crowd. When the tax collectors arrived with their armed escorts, they found 300 women armed with frying pans, pestles, and boiling pots of pepper soup. The chief tax officer sneered, until Amara dumped a bucket of rotten tomatoes at his feet. "Your corruption ends today." General Idris stormed into the war room where Tunde was reviewing troop deployments. "You let women dictate policy now?" His medals clinked as he threw down a newspaper. The front page showed Amara leading the tax protest. Tunde didn't look up. "Those women feed the nation, General. Perhaps you'd like to explain why your nephew stole last month's grain shipments." That night, military trucks surrounded the palace. Amara woke Tunde with a kiss and a pistol. "Your generals are staging a coup, love." Outside, the rumble of tanks shook the windows. The soldiers burst into the nursery, only to find Kemi waiting alone, her dolls arranged in a strange circle. "You're late," the 4-year-old said calmly. Then the lights went out. When they came back on, every gun in the room had melted into lumps of hot metal. The fleeing soldiers swore they'd seen the girl's eyes glow like molten gold. Tunde knelt before the ancient Ifa priestess in a hidden shrine beneath Lagos. "The child carries Oya's spirit," the crone whispered, pressing a rusted nail to his palm. "But dark forces seek her power. Swear on your ancestors' bones, protect her or perish." As the nail drew blood, thunder shook the earth. Amara, waiting outside, felt the scar on her belly from Kemi's birth begin to burn. Senator Whitlock's private jet landed at 3 a.m. "We can make Nigeria the jewel of our African oil interests," he told Tunde over whiskey, eyeing Amara like a menu item. Of course, certain obstacles would need removing. Amara smashed the whiskey bottle against the senator's head. "Oops," slipped. The CIA agents reached for weapons, only to find royal snipers already targeting them through the windows. The state dinner, Kemi suddenly knocked over her glass. "Don't eat that." Every dish tested positive for arsenic. The culprit? The French ambassador's gift of foie gras. As guards dragged him away, he screamed, "The child is a witch!" Amara's slap left him spitting teeth. "She's your future queen." Smoke billowed from the royal library as Tunde and Amara raced through flaming corridors. "They're erasing history," Tunde coughed, grabbing centuries-old treaties. A beam crashed down. Amara shoved him clear, her hair catching fire. Later, as nurses treated her burns, Tunde wept over the charred remains of his family's darkest secrets. Tunde's exiled uncle returned with a militia of desert warriors. "The throne is mine by right," he proclaimed at the gates. Kemi, watching from the ramparts, whispered, "The vultures are coming, Daddy." That night, hyenas broke into the rebel camp, mauling only those with treasonous letters in their pockets. The climax of the sacred rites, the high priest demanded a royal maiden's blood to bless the crown. The crowd gasped as Kemi stepped forward, until Amara threw a spear through the priest's chest. "Try bleeding my daughter and see what happens." The surviving priests quickly declared the omen favorable. On their joint coronation day, Amara stood before the nation in battle armor, welded from melted-down corrupt officials' cars. Her first decree: from today, no Nigerian child will go to bed hungry. As the cheers shook the palace walls, Kemi's eyes glowed again, this time with something like approval. An ancient prophecy spoke of a white lion heralding doom for false kings. When one appeared in the capital, the people panicked until Kemi walked up and scratched its ears. "She's just hungry," the child announced. The lion followed her home like a house cat. A delegation from the mines presented loyalty gems. That night, servants dropped dead after polishing them. Investigation revealed the stones were conflict diamonds cursed by Congolese witch doctors. Amara personally led the raid that burned the witch doctors' grove, their screams echoing strangely. Like Kemi's nursery rhymes, Amara collapsed during a state address. The royal physician paled. "My queen, you're with child, but..." The ultrasound showed twins, one with a heartbeat, one with glowing golden veins. Kemi kissed her mother's belly. "My brother is coming, and my other brother." Rebels attacked during the rare lunar eclipse. As arrows rained down, Kemi hummed, and every arrow turned to rose petals midair. The attackers fled, screaming of witchcraft. Tunde finally asked the question haunting him, "What exactly is our daughter?" Amara just smiled. "Ours." The British envoy brought gifts of smallpox-infected blankets for orphanages. Amara had him publicly flogged, then shipped back in a crate labeled "Return to Sender." That night, every British-owned oil rig in Nigerian waters mysteriously sank. When warlords kidnapped schoolgirls, Amara didn't send soldiers. She mobilized the market women, who stormed the militants' camp with poisoned needles and boiling oil. The sole survivor whispered, "They came with the Orisha's fury minutes before expiring." Kemi's powers grew uncontrollable. One tantrum turned an entire banquet hall to gold. Tunde pleaded with the Ifa priestess. "There's a price for such gifts," she warned. "Soon the debt comes due." US Marines landed under humanitarian pretexts. Their real mission? Secure Kemi for study. Amara unleashed the white lion. It tore through tanks like paper. "Senator." Whitlock's severed head arrived in a box with a note. "Next time, knock first." Kemi's golden veins spread daily. The priestess revealed the truth. She's a living godling. To survive, she must consume either a kingdom or her parents' souls. Tunde and Amara exchanged a glance. The choice was never really a choice. The sacred baobab tree, Tunde and Amara clasped hands over Kemi's head. "Take what you need," they whispered. Light erupted. When it faded, Kemi stood alone, her eyes now completely golden. Across Nigeria, every gun turned to dust. The palace felt empty without them. Kemi ruled with eerie wisdom, her white lion at her side. One day, a familiar beggar appeared at the gates, Tunde, but aged 50 years overnight. "Did it work?" he croaked. Kemi hugged him. "Almost, Daddy. Just one more step." Amara awoke in a mud hut, her belly round with pregnancy. Outside, a younger Tunde begged in the marketplace. The cycle was repeating, until Kemi's voice whispered across time, "Break the wheel, Mama." This time, when the king's guards came, Amara fought back. She rallied the market women days earlier. Tunde never became a beggar. He led the revolt. From inside the palace, Kemi was born in a rebel camp, her first cry sounding suspiciously like laughter. Without the old corruption, Nigeria flourished. Tunde and Amara ruled as equals, their love rewriting destiny itself. The white lion became the national symbol. As for Kemi, she grew up normal, mostly. At 16, Kemi uncovered a shocking truth. Her normal life was an illusion. The original timeline still existed, with her godling self trapped in endless rain. "Mom, Dad, we have to go back." The family stood at the baobab tree, hands joined. Lightning struck, and they awoke in the original palace, now overgrown with golden vines. The other Kemi awaited, her eyes hollow. "You left me alone for so long." The two Kemis embraced. Light exploded. When it cleared, a young woman stood balanced between human and divine. "The debt is paid," she announced. Across Nigeria, the sick were healed and the hungry fed. Kemi took the throne with her parents as advisors. Her first act, abolishing monarchy in favor of a people's council. The white lion approved, purring like thunder. Years later, an old beggar told the tale to children. And so the runaway prince, the market queen, and the golden child remade the world. Kemi, passing by in simple clothes, dropped a gold coin in his cup. In a modest house by the sea, Tunde and Amara rocked grandchildren on the porch. The white lion, now grey-muzzled, dozed at their feet. Somewhere a new story was beginning. But this one was theirs alone.